Spirit adaptation is about the identities that you take on and become your energy because you choose to adapt that spirit. Welcome back to Along the Spiritual Journey. Spiritual adaptation, one of the best examples that I can give of this is, and this is not me hating on anyone, this is just me using it as an example, but sex. Sex is a spirit adaptation, right? Every single human being, every single species gets aroused. We get horny. It happens, right? That's a part of the sexual organs and all that stuff and the chemistry that comes along with it. But once we express that energy and we get that energy out of our system, right? Then we go back to what we call normal, right? We don't have this crazy horny feeling that's making us feel like we need to run out and do it all the time because there's a balance. There's a balance of all energy. Now, some people choose to take that energy and it becomes their identity. And then all they think about is sex. All they talk about is sex. All they do is sex oriented types of activities and this and that. And again, nothing wrong with that. But here's the duality of when you take on the spirit adaptation. You have to deal with the duality and the darkness of the sides of that thing that you're taking on because spirits are things that we choose to be a part of. Like joy is a spirit, happiness is a spirit, again, sadness, depression. These are all different types of spirits. Not saying that they're your fault that you take them on, but you have to be aware that you're taking them on. This is where emotional intelligence becomes part of the spiritual journey because it becomes about identity of who you want to be and not the things that are driving you to be this, right? We have a lot of things that are based in our subconscious, based in imprinting from our childhood, from our surroundings, from people who talk to us, how we consume media. All these things add up to what we call our sexual appetite or what we feel we're sexually attracted to, which is why so many people come out of the closet later. They go through moments of exploring and trying to figure out who they are, which is a part of the human condition. That is normal. It is not supposed to be this gate kept thing that's like, you're supposed to do this with your parts, and you're supposed to do this with your parts because it's my game and I said this is what fits. Do you understand how that looks? That's how I see it when I see someone telling someone which energies they need to represent. I don't ever want to tell somebody what energies they should take on. I just tell them to be mindful, not to be consumed by that spirit adaptation. Because if you become consumed by that spirit adaptation, that's when you start to let in what people call demons, right? Because then it can get to a point where, let's say you do have a very high sexual libido and you're having sex in a healthy way with healthy partners and you're talking to them and you're engaging and you guys are being safe and using protection. Fine, have at it, orgy it up. I don't care. It becomes seedy when it's hiding and lying and cheating and demeaning and hurting people and hurting yourself because you don't want to be seen and you're going into these deep, dark, secret corners of the deepest, darkest someone's basement just to get off. And then this person might hurt you, right? That's where the demons come in because how bad do you need sex that you got to go to some random person's house in the middle of the woods and then end up in their basement, right? Because that's what drove you there. And I'm not picking on anyone because I did it back in the day. I cannot pretend that I wasn't dumb like that. I was a kid. I didn't know. No one taught me. But because it was so suppressed and I was told not to express my energy, I became hypersexual in my 20s, like everyone does when you get out of your parents' hold. But then in my exploration, I started to go to the darker sides, right? When there's a lot of drugs involved and a lot of alcohol, and you're waking up places you don't remember. You don't remember these people. You don't remember what you did. And you start to feel bad. You start to feel depressed and heavy and gross. And you start trying to justify the emotions. And you start finding sub-tribe of people like you who are like, yeah, we do that too. It's okay. We know it's okay to normalize this type of energy. I'm not trying to be mean to anyone, but I will never normalize going to like some random place where I don't know what your face looks like and there's just a hole and you just stick it in. Good for you. I think that's brave. I'm not that brave. I like to know who I'm doing it with. I don't want to suppress my energy that much. And that's what I'm talking about when you adapt a spirit of prudeness, right? I can't have that. I don't deserve that. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm too good for that. Now you're telling your body it doesn't deserve to express its sexual energy, which is orgasms, which is climax, which is all these things that make you feel good. That's normal. You're supposed to explore that, but you're not supposed to become some sexual identity that is then abused and used by others, whatever fantasy, right? This is why I always say, if you want to be sexy, sexy is not the amount of clothing you're wearing, honey. Sexy, and again, skimpy or not, because I love skimpy outfits. It makes me feel slender and free, and yes, sexy. But I know that's not where it's coming from. Where it's coming from is me feeling good in my body. That's what makes you sexy, right? Because no matter what you put on, it's about the sensuality of how you express that energy. So when you want to express your sensuality, you can express it and be fluid and fun and playful and do all these things like, like I know all that stuff, posturing. I'm not really good at masculine posturing, but you get what I'm saying. Flirty, these things, this is all parts of the courting game and the dating game, right? And then when you want to be your sexual energy, and yeah, in that moment of expressing pure lust, go for it, do it. But it's hard for me to say it's normal to walk around and your whole day is focused on sex. That is an addiction, in my opinion. It's okay. Again, addictions don't mean you're bad. It just means you're over consuming something and you need to take it back a notch and remember who you are and enjoy it for what it represents and not just the action it is. Because people, that's what porn is. You watch it over and over and over and get to this point where you like the repetitive action to get to the climax. That's the energy of exchange you're really wanting. Most people don't watch it all day. And if they are just watching it all day, that's an addiction. Sorry, it is. Okay, I'm trying to be nice, but sometimes you just got to call it what it is. So, the reason I focused on this energy is because that's what society loves. We're obsessed with sex. We're obsessed with bodies. We're obsessed with penetration. We're obsessed with seeing things that we say we're not supposed to be seen because of spirit adaptations. When you have someone who's holier than thou saying you can't express yourself this way, of course you're going to create the literally dualistic polarized version of that, which is hypersexuality. If you have someone who's super prudish in religion and they're all trying to be closeted, but they're really over here doing secret sexual stuff too, then it creates this world of miseducation and misunderstanding that, oh, sex is seedy. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. But I do want people to stop becoming the entity of it, because we are more than just our bodies. We are more than just our sexual expression. We have way more on this earth to provide and give than just being looked at, right? It's fun to be looked at. It's great to express that. That's the human condition. But we have to understand that there's parts of us that are deeper, that are spirit adaptations that are meant to be activated. Like for me, myself, mine was being a speaker. I was nervous to speak in front of people, but I had to take on that spirit of you have to speak because what you're saying actually has some type of hold. Like it has some type of meaning. Like even if I feel like, oh, I think I'm just saying this just to say it, that's fine. I took on the spirit of being willing to put myself out there and be vulnerable. And so now I'm doing that. So this is a part of my world now. It's not my identity, it's a part of my world. I can identify with being a communicator, but I don't identify as a communicator all the time. Sometimes I'm just me, which is I just want to laugh and play and be goofy. These are all different things that we get to choose to do and be. So when people make you feel like you have to look a certain way and be a certain way and act a certain way, those are spirit adaptations. And if you choose to do it, do it. Just don't become it. Don't get lost in the sauce, right? Don't get so, because I used to do it all the time. I've talked about it before when I was younger. When I first came out back in the 90s, to me, being a gay boy back then was wearing Abercrombie. And then I became this weird Abercrombie talking preppy and acting extra for no reason because I thought that's what it was. Until I realized, like, no, that's just fashion. It has nothing to do with the energy. It has nothing to do with the spirit. And I was like, oh, I don't have to be a mean girl to be gay. And people are like, no. So that's what I mean about spirit adaptation. Pay attention that just because you are that thing does not mean you have to become that thing. Just enjoy it, partake, and then take yourself away when you don't want to be a part of it and live your life the best to your ability, okay? I hope that makes sense. Love ya.